Hi. Hi. I'm Jeff Noggle, and I am doing a report for business, COM 213. And the report was to be about, actually, I'm doing a presentation about a report that we did, and we had to do a PowerPoint. And I am doing mine on Thor. And it was supposed to be about their finances, financial health, you know. However, I got a little carried away, I think, with the history of Thor. Why? Because Thor has made a lot of acquisitions over the years, which is the reason why they are as large as they are. And actually, one of those companies that they own is Jayco. Jayco is probably the largest company they own, and Jayco owns the company that I work for, which is Highland Ridge. And yes, I design RVs for a living. I've been doing it about a month, and it's actually really fun. However, let's start with who is Thor. Well, Thor, they're not just an RV company. They like to think of themselves as an experience. What I mean is, they don't sell a camper, they sell the experience. They want you to live an experience. Camping as much as a lifestyle. And they started small. They started small in the 80s. They two guys bought a company called Airstream. You may know about it. They're the campers that look like the Bullet. But Airstream was doing really bad in the 70s because of the downturn of the economy, which a lot of you may not remember. And then within a year of them buying Airstream, they had made a great profit. And again, their Thor has gotten themselves in a lot of different markets. Motorhomes, Class A, Class C, travel trailers, fifth wheels. They even had a stint with ambulances and buses. Next, okay, yes. And over the years, Thor has won a lot of business awards. And I know you can't see this screen, but I'm going to do my best. Try not to read it. I mean, anywhere from the Forbes top Fortune 400 in 2000 all the way to being ranked 636 in the Fortune 1000 in 2014. And among that same study, they were the 17th among motor vehicles and parts manufacturers. Well, here starts the daunting task of the history of Thor. Again, in 1980, they were founded by two gentlemen. I'm sorry, I never can remember their names. Is Wade Thompson and B. Orthwein. And like I said, they did start the company by buying Airstream. That's what got them into it. And then in 1982, they bought another company which brought their upstake in the travel trailer and fifth wheels called General Coach. And they are a Canadian company. So that kind of helped them get, not just in the US, but in Canada. And then in 1984, they became publicly traded in the over-the-counter market category. And then in 1986, they were publicly traded on the New York Stock Exchange. This, in 1988, is when they started getting into the small bus industry by buying Eldorado National out of Kansas. 1991, they bought Dutchman Manufacturing, who is also another manufacturer of travel trailers and fifth wheels. Four Winds National was their introduction into the Class A and Class C moto. The ones you drive, the big ones, the expensive ones. And in 1995, Comfort Companies, who also helped increase their sales in travel trailers and fifth wheels. In 1998, they increased their sales in the bus industry, which brought them in the top bus manufacturers. In 2001, they bought Keystone, who is actually a pretty big company in its own right. And I'm going to go through these quickly. They bought Damon and Breckenridge, 2003, 2004, Crossroads RVs, another leader in motorhomes, Goshen Coach, buses also, Heartland RV, travel trailers, fifth wheels, SJC Industries they acquired, which was their introduction in 2010 into the ambulance industry, and they were the second largest, and I'm assuming next to, we all know Braun. In 2012, they bought Crystal Infinity and Federal Coach, who is also a big bus manufacturer. About 2013, they decided that buses were not what they wanted. Buses, they exited the bus industry to focus more on the camper experience with the RVs and the motorhomes and the motor coaches. So also in 2013, that same year, they bought a company called Live and Light. Live and Light is well known for building the smaller, not real small, 20 to 30 foot trailers with lightweight aluminum, which makes it a lot easier to carry for, you don't need a big 2,500 heavy duty truck to carry these campers. And then in 2013, later on that year, they bought Postal Aluminum, which, you know, they're now using a lot of aluminum in their campers, so therefore they bought a company so they can supply themselves with aluminum, and it would be much cheaper for them to use. Then in 2016 was the big purchase. 2016, they bought Jayco, which again I said, Jayco is the mother company of Highland Ridge. Highland Ridge was bought out by Jayco in 2014. And Thor purchased them for $1.5 billion. Yes, $1.5 billion, because I believe Jayco was the third leading manufacturer of RVs. There's another company, Forest, River, Wood, whatever. They're our competitor, you know. We don't talk about them too much. And so, like I said, and that brought them above the competitor and made them #1. Stocks rose, revenue rose, sales rose, all that good stuff. And again, briefly, I already discussed what Jayco meant to Thor. Bought them for $1.5 billion. Stocks rose over 50%. Not only stocks values, but like I said, revenue and sales. And you know, I'm going to backtrack a little bit back to 2007. A lot of you may remember back in 2007 that there was a big recession. It was caused by the housing industry, but the recession also caused gas prices was also a big cause of the recession. Gas prices got up to $4 a gallon or near, and I remember that well. But with RVs, you may or may not know, RVs are heavy, even with the lightweight aluminum. So, and the big RV, the coaches, the Class A and C motorhomes, they run on like 8 gallons of the mile, which those got expensive. So that industry just tanked. And where most of the where most of the RVs are made is in Elkhart, Indiana, or that area. Elkhart, LaGrange, Ligonier, Shipshewana, Middlebury. Jayco's in Middlebury. I live in Shipshewana, and that ended up causing the largest, the highest unemployment rate in the nation in shortly thereafter. And actually was one of the reasons why Obama visited Elkhart, because of that, trying to help bring them back. Like I said, unemployment there got up to 20%. How did Thor get through this? Well, Thor moved quickly. They bought up companies quick. Even they hired back 400 to 500 people quickly. But let's backtrack a little bit. How were they able to do that? Well, loans loosened up credit. So people were buying campers more and more. They were buying campers more. And they also, their philosophy was, we're not going to build brand new buildings, which call really expensive. They had small buildings, small inventory, older buildings, and so they didn't lose a lot, like a lot of these other companies did, that didn't make it because they had these lavish, expensive buildings that they couldn't afford for the recession. Another reason they succeeded shortly after the recession was they were not afraid, and they were able to pay their employees well with incentives. Their hourly wage wasn't the best. I'm thinking 15, 16 an hour, but their incentives were great. I mean, a lot of the manufacturer employees, the production employees that actually build them, we could not make it without these people. And they're known to make 60 to 80 grand a year. And like I would touch on acquisitions and income. Like I said, acquisitions. And the total revenue in 2012 was about $2 billion. And then up through end of 2016, which is after the acquisition of Jayco and a couple of these other Heartland, Dutchman, Keystone in those years, they brought it up to 3.5, which was billion a year. Right now it's at 4 billion. I just checked recently, and that is, like I said, a big reason because of the Jayco acquisition, and which put the revenues per share at up to $87,000 revenue per share, as opposed to 57,000. And again, the stock price, and this, you can hardly see this, and I am so sorry, but in 2015 the stock prices were around $50 to $60 in 2015 per share, and at the end of 2016, early 2017, again because of the acquisition of Jayco, it brought that stock price up to $120 per share. And now, I checked recently again, and the shares they're bounced and they dropped a little bit, about 20 bucks. They're between 100 and 110 as we speak. They started this year at their highest of 127. And here, is Thor a monopoly? Well, this is asked by a lot of people in the Elkhart area because they own so much. They're just afraid, people in the area are afraid. Are they too big? Do they have too much? Well, some economists think that it's good. It's a good thing. Weaknesses? Well, as I said a little bit ago, are they too big? Do they have too many companies? Well, that's sort of a weakness, I think. Maybe. Because if the economy fails, the entire economy, I mean, they got too much in the market, so there's going to be a lot of unemployment. And the other thing, this one here hits a little, hits a little here. Should they let each of the subsidiary companies be their own? Well, what I mean is Highland Ridge was very, very, very successful. They were just very small. And they are trying to change a lot of things and the ways that we as Highland Ridge operate. And a lot of the people that's been there a while, you know, they don't like change, you don't think it's good, but time will tell. Strengths, again with one of the weaknesses, they sustain a large presence in the inventory, in the industry. I mean, again, travel trailers, fifth wheels, motorhomes, motor coaches, Class A, Class C, lightweight, well, you name it. And again, I'll mention another strength, I mentioned a little bit ago, is their wages and their incentives. They get a piece rate for example, High Ridge, they're supposed to get out, let's say for one of the models, 20 model units a day. If they hit that in the day, they get an incentive, and like I said, they make pretty good money. 60 to 80 grand is not uncommon for a production employee to make. And again, the strength, they were smart through tough times. They spent their money wisely. And the future of Thor. Well, currently, and it's always increasing, the people that own and buy motorhomes are those in the 45 to 55 age range, a little higher than that. And they've always been right trailers. They have more disposable income. They towards retirement, and they want a place to go on weekends. While the new future are millennials. Well, millennials, you know, nowadays the technology has improved. They can do a lot of their work from out of the office, and a lot of these millennials don't like to be in one spot, so they like to move around. So, there you go. There's Thor, very successful. I see a great success in them in the future. So, that was nice talking. Well, it looks like, I'm sorry, looks like I have a minute to go. I'm sorry. Again, Thor is a very, very, very successful company because of all the acquisitions. And like I said, I checked the stock. No, that's all I got. So, sorry. Bye.